Hello guys, this is Zombie and welcome back for a new video of Napoleon series by Epic History TV. That's Napoleon in Italy, Battle of the Pyramids 1798. Let's go for this series. To destroy England fully, the time is coming when we must seize Egypt. Napoleon to the Directory, August 1797.
May 1798. A massive French invasion force sails across the Mediterranean. 55,000 men, aboard more than 300 ships, escorted by 13 ships of the line. Aboard the most powerful of these, the 120-gun L'Orient, sails General Napoleon Bonaparte. France's celebrated hero of the war in Italy has received new orders from his government. He is to lead an expeditionary force east, to Egypt, the wealthiest province of the Ottoman Empire. And to all educated Europeans, an ancient land of mystery and wonder. After 6 years of war in Europe, the French Republic faces one last remaining enemy: Great Britain. The conquest of Egypt will strike a powerful blow against the British, disrupting their trade in the Eastern Mediterranean and threatening their connections to India and the East. These profitable trade networks help fuel the British war effort. What's more, it will extend France's revolutionary, civilizing mission to the people of Egypt, liberating them from superstition and feudalism. France's corrupt and avaricious government, the Directory, sees two further benefits from the campaign: the opportunity to acquire tremendous riches.
So just to come back on that, yeah, so this is basically, I don't know if it exists in English, yes, but yeah, universalism, as we call it in French. Yeah, it was a time where French universalism was, it was very imperialist, and not only there for this expedition, but after in justification for colonization. The British, for example, it was more like business. They did a trade post or control certain places for strategic or business reasons. So it was a kind of a pragmatic way, while France, it was justified by this universalism, this imperialist universalism.
To the people of Egypt, liberating them from superstition and feudalism. France's corrupt and avaricious government, the Directory, sees two further benefits from the campaign: the opportunity to acquire tremendous riches, and to get the alarmingly popular and ambitious General Bonaparte far away from Paris, where plots and coups are never far from anyone's mind.
But as far as I know, I think that's it wasn't at their initiative. It was more of Napoleon and others' initiative. But it was surely practical for them to have him very far away from
Napoleon is thrilled by the expedition, which he has done much to promote and organize himself. It is a chance to win fresh glory and to walk in the footsteps of his heroes, Julius Caesar and Alexander the Great. Like Alexander, Napoleon even has fanciful notions of marching on to India to attack the British there. Europe is a molehill, he had told his secretary, Bourrienne. We must set off for the Orient. That is where all the greatest glory has been achieved.
I mean, he's a bit optimistic, I think, at this time. With Orientalism, they fantasized the East, because at this time it was more in decline compared to relative wealth to Europe with the Industrial Revolution, Renaissance, etc. So it was true at one point, but a bit less in this historical context.
But the Mediterranean is dangerous water for the French. While the Republic's armies have won great victories on land, Britain has cemented its status as the dominant naval power of the age, with decisive victories over French allies, the Spanish at Cape St. Vincent,
we saw
and
this.
the Dutch at Camperdown.
I will put in the info
Rear
card
Admiral Sir Horatio
the
Nelson
video
and his squadron
for
of
Cape St.
14
Vincent
ships of the line now prowl the Mediterranean.
against the Spanish. Oh, Nelson, welcome
Nelson knows a large French fleet has just left Toulon, but does not know its destination, which remains a closely guarded secret. Undetected, the French expedition sails south along the Italian coast. On the 9th of June, it arrives off Malta. The island is ruled by the Knights of St. John, a religious military order dating back to the Crusades. But the French have decided that they want it for a naval base, and a thorn in the side of the British. In 1565, the Knights had famously held out against a vast Ottoman army for 3 months. Now, despised by the locals, divided amongst themselves, the Knights surrender to Napoleon in just 2 days.
Damn.
During his 6 days in Malta, Napoleon overhauls its archaic government, establishes schools, abolishes slavery, and requisitions money and supplies.
6 days.
Then he sails for Egypt, leaving General Vaubois and a 5,000-strong garrison to hold the island. But where is the Royal Navy? Back in May, Nelson's squadron had been dispersed by gales. He has now regrouped, correctly guessed Napoleon's destination, and is racing to intercept. If he can catch the French, British seamanship and gunnery all but guarantee the destruction of Napoleon's fleet. Then, a lucky break for the French. On the night of the 22nd, Nelson's squadron passes within a few miles of the French fleet. But thanks to heavy fog and darkness, neither side is even aware of the other's presence. The British squadron sails on to Alexandria.
Lucky, but we saw it in the last video, the British on the other side with the Spanish, especially I think it was like Nelson, I don't remember his ship, but he passed through a big line of Spanish ships, and it was through the mist, the same, and so it was undetected. While he passed through them, like there were ships to his left and to his right, so yeah. Fortune goes both ways. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes it's the opposite.
Where they find no sign of the French. An exasperated Nelson waits 24 hours before heading north to continue his search. Just
That's
hours
unlucky.
later, the first of Napoleon's ships arrive off Alexandria.
Soldiers, you are about to undertake a conquest whose effects on civilization and trade are incalculable. We will make exhausting marches. We will fight. I'm so slow. We will fight several battles. We will succeed in all our enterprises. Destiny is for us. Napoleon's proclamation to his army. 28 June 1798.
Napoleon, aware that British warships are in the area, wants to disembark as quickly as possible. 5,000 French infantry go ashore at night, storm Alexandria the next morning, and quickly overpower its garrison. The rest of the French army lands safely. Napoleon has brought 38,000 troops to Egypt, mostly veterans of the Army of Italy. The 5 infantry divisions are commanded by Generals
So a pretty good
Desaix,
army.
Kleber, Menou, and Renier. The single cavalry division is led by the towering figure of Thomas Alexandre Dumas. He is France's first black general, born in what's now Haiti.
Technically wrong, but I know it's weird in the USA and England, I guess. You consider mixed people as black, but he's half black, half white, so he's mixed, not black. But I guess that's the one drop rule or something with the USA that stayed in your culture, but yeah, we say more mixed.
To a French aristocrat and enslaved African woman. He has already won fame for his actions in Italy, where the Austrians had nicknamed him the Black Devil. There are more familiar faces.
And by the way, if you want to know, his son, I believe, or his son, he became a famous writer.
From Italy, Napoleon's chief of staff, the indefatigable General Berthier, and brigade commanders Generals Murat, Lannes, and Marmont. The army is also accompanied by 167 scientists, scholars, artists, and assorted experts, even a hot air balloonist. Collectively, they are known as the savants, and have come to
No, you don't pronounce the T and the S. It's savant. Savant. Yeah, French is weird sometimes, but you don't pronounce both of his letters. Yeah.
Study Egypt's historical and natural wonders. But they and Napoleon find Alexandria a bitter disappointment. The fabled city of antiquity, founded by Alexander himself, has been reduced by centuries of earthquakes and neglect to a ramshackle town of 6.
That's what I said about the East. He fantasized the East of Alexander time, but yeah, it was no longer Persia, the Egypt of the time. So yeah, also so. Yeah.
1,000 inhabitants. Egypt is nominally ruled by the Ottoman Empire. In reality, power lies with local Mamluk warlords. 2 in particular, Murad Bey and Ibrahim Bey. Mamluks were originally slave soldiers who once served the Islamic Caliphate. Superb horsemen and fearless warriors, they now rule Egypt with an iron fist, expropriating its wealth and leaving its peasants in poverty. To most Egyptians, they are despised foreign overlords, a situation that Napoleon hopes to exploit with clever propaganda. To the people of Egypt, he proclaims, "I am come to restore your rights and punish usurpers. I reverence God, His Prophet, and the Quran."
He's a genius, Napoleon, because he's able to seduce the people by going. I mean, at least trying to seduce the people by returning them like that against their elites, and while saying, "Hey, I respect your culture." And but I'm confused about the Mamluks. So he said slave soldiers. So it reminds me, but I don't, of the genocide. Like, it's like little Europeans / Christians that were kidnapped by the Ottoman Empire and then became their elite troops. So Mamluks, it sounds a bit the same, like slave soldiers, but I don't know if it's the same story about them, if they are like converts. I don't know. Tell me if you know it, because I saw in the last videos, it was great. Many people commented on reply to my questions, or even say the stuff added details to the video, contextual details. So yeah, if someone knows more about the Mamluks, their background, I would be interested.
Meanwhile, Murad and Ibrahim summon Mamluk warlords to the Al-Azhar Mosque in Cairo. Here, they agree to gather an army to crush the invaders. Napoleon believes his best option is to strike quickly. Less than a day after his troops finish landing, he begins his advance on Cairo. But he misjudges the blistering climate and the barren, windswept landscape. He forces the pace, even after his men run out of water and are consumed by thirst. Hundreds collapse and die. A few kill themselves to escape the suffering. Bedouin horsemen circle the French like vultures. Stragglers that fall into their hands are robbed, tortured, and killed. Even old comrades like Lannes and Murat are involved in heated conversations about Napoleon's decision-making.
I think it sounds controversial, but I think he did the right thing. And I think he did the best he could. Because back then, in fact, as I said, they fantasized about the East, but they didn't know much. So how to be prepared for the desert, they couldn't be so well prepared, and they had logistical challenges, like, their logistic is basically French ships having to make like hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers, or for Americans watching miles, but whatever, to take food, ammunitions, etc., water from them. So yeah, it was logistic was hard. They didn't know this place at all. It wasn't a climate they were used to. So I think that he couldn't have been more prepared.
Army takes 4 days to cover the 45 miles to Damanhur, where mercifully there is.
What they should have done, stayed in the desert a bit more and have more deaths. So I think his decision making was good, except if I miss something.
Able to rest, drink, and trade for food. It's not a moment too soon. News arrives that a large force of Mamluks under Murad Bey is approaching from the southeast. The French advance to meet them at Shubrahit, on the banks of the Nile. As 4,000 Mamluk horsemen come into view, the French marvel at their brightly coloured outfits, embellished with gold and jewels, and their many ornate weapons, including pistols, swords, daggers, and lances. Murad boasts that he will sever Frenchmen's heads like slicing watermelons in a field. But for all their bravado and panache, the Mamluks have neither the discipline nor tactics to face a trained modern army.
Yes, I was gonna say, it sounds too cocky, and honestly, historically, the Europeans, and even more in this period, were very good at battle. So
When Napoleon forms his troops into giant squares, the Mamluk cavalry can only circle impotently, unable to break through the walls of French bayonets.
So they were probably very good by Middle East standards of the time, but compared to 18th century European army, it was the excellence of the world European armies.
Scores are shot from the saddle. After 2 hours, the Mamluks call off their attack and retreat. They have suffered around 1,000.
These guys really didn't learn about history because European armies were already known as being very, very good, very efficient, very powerful, very well disciplined, etc. Centuries before, but here it was at their pinnacle, their military power might, their prime. So, yeah, it was sure it wouldn't go well for the Mamluks.
And casualties. The French have scarcely lost a man. The victory is a much-needed morale boost for Napoleon's men after the hardships of the desert. The Mamluks fall back to Mbaba, a small town on the banks of the Nile, across the river from Cairo. Here, within sight of Egypt's fabled pyramids 9 miles to the south, they will face the invader with their full force.
Soldiers, 40 centuries of history are looking down on you. Napoleon's address to his army, 1788. What a badass quote. And it is famous in French, but it's still very badass in English.
On the sweltering afternoon of the 21st of July, Napoleon's forces approach Mbaba. He has 25,000 men, organized into 5 giant divisional squares, with cavalry and baggage inside, and cannon at every corner. Murad, with characteristic boldness, has crossed to the west bank of the Nile, leaving Ibrahim behind. Their forces total many thousands, but sources disagree wildly on just how many. His elite Mamluk cavalry, 6,000 strong, are deployed between the small village of Biktil and the well-fortified town of Mbaba, which is garrisoned by a mix of Ottoman infantry and peasant militia.
You heard it? Peasant militia. So it's one of the reasons why I said the gap, because at this time the European armies were all, I mean the main ones at least, were all professional armies. And you can be like, yeah, it's normal, but no, not until it's a very recent invention. Not invention, it already existed, but I mean, at this time, yes, it was quite unique compared to, yeah, you can see a lot of militias back then. So it's one of the difference. Also, one big difference also is that it's Napoleon, and Napoleon studied the Mamluks because they were known as cavalrymen, and he came up with this strategy, tactics of square formations that were very deadly against the famous Mamluk cavalry.
Napoleon's plan is simple: to drive through the enemy center and crush their right flank against the river. At 3:30 p.m, Desaix and Renier's divisions begin their advance. But as they move across the broken ground, their formation becomes disordered. Murad spots his chance and unleashes his cavalry. The Mamluks thunder forward at lightning speed. Desaix and Renier react just in time and close ranks. The French hold their fire until the last moment.
That's what it is, a professional army.
Then unleash a devastating volley.
They had no chance.
Horses and riders are sent tumbling. The survivors have no way to get to grips with the enemy, who continue pouring deadly fire into their midst.
Professional and experimented.
The Mamluks wheel back to regroup, but more charges meet the same result. Many Mamluks simply give up and flee the field. Napoleon orders the divisions of Bon and Vial to move forward. Once more, the Mamluk cavalry charge. Once more, the wave of horsemen shatters on French musketry and bayonets. With the enemy cavalry broken, Bon and Vival's men pour into Mbaba. It is a slaughter. Those who are not killed flee into the Nile, where hundreds drown.
Complete route.
Murad
Look
Bey
at this guy.
escapes with the remnants of his cavalry.
It's very convenient, huh? You let your ally get destroyed. That's also one issue with this battle is that, yeah, they were very badly positioned. Like, one was completely isolated from the battlefield and had zero involvement and was put zero pressure on them.
To Giza, from where he will withdraw to southern Egypt. Ibrahim Bey watches the calamity unfold across the river.
He watched like
then
he's
withdraws
watching
with his
a
men
match on TV.
back to Cairo. It is a crushing, one-sided victory that takes just 2 hours.
2 hours.
The Mamluks suffer more than 5,000 casualties.
That's
with
huge
heavy
for
losses
2 hours.
among their elite cavalry and leadership. French losses are less than 300. Napoleon, with his usual flair for PR, decides this great victory will be known as the Battle of the Pyramids, just in sight to the south. On the 24th of July, Napoleon enters Cairo. Parts of the city are abandoned and in ashes after being torched by the Mamluks in their frantic withdrawal. Napoleon observes it would be difficult to find a richer land and a more wretched, ignorant and brutish people.
Yeah, because he fantasized about an East that didn't exist anymore.
Nonetheless, Cairo is the heart of Egypt, a city of 600,000 inhabitants.
That's still
and is
something.
in French hands.
I think still Cairo is something, huh? 600,000 is huge for the time. So I guess still.
With the Mamluks scattered
Huge
and on the
city.
run, Napoleon's dream of eastern conquest seems about to be realized. Just 8 days later, the dream is shattered.
Victory is not a name strong enough for such a scene. So I should it's oh no, not him again.
At
You
sea,
can attack and beat the Spanish. I don't care, but not French army, please.
Nelson and the British Mediterranean Squadron have not given up their hunt for the French fleet. Finally, on the afternoon of the 1st of August, Nelson finds the French sheltering in Abu Qir Bay. With 14 ships of the line against 13, he decides to attack that evening. The British win a complete and stunning victory. The giant French flagship L'Orient is destroyed in a massive explosion.
They hit the magazine ammunition. Crazy.
By the time it's over, the British have destroyed or captured 11 French ships of the line and taken more than 3,000 prisoners. With no fleet, Napoleon is stranded in Egypt. What's more, most of his army's cash has
Yeah,
gone
that's-
down with L'Orient.
Catastrophe for Napoleon. Because, yeah, as you said, the cash and all the many stuff were in it, logistics. But it was already hard with a navy to do the logistics, but when you don't have one anymore, it's hard.
But Napoleon does not despair. If anything, he is invigorated by the crisis. His options are now simple. He and his army must support themselves in this foreign land, or perish.
It's great man spirit.
While General Desaix is sent south in pursuit of Murad Bey, Napoleon sets about reforming the administration of Egypt. The old feudal system is abolished. A postal service and hospitals are set up, and a new tax system introduced. Napoleon establishes the Institute of Egypt for scientific and scholarly research. He shows...
I believe it still exists, and that's why we still have some privileged relations between France and Egypt.
Great interest in and respect for Islam, funding the construction of mosques and encouraging the observance of religious festivals.
I mean, not only that, but overall it was French and to some extent the English, we could say, that invented the Egyptology, the study of ancient Egypt.
Engagement later leads to rumors that Napoleon actually converted to Islam.
I mean, in a way, that's Napoleon with this expedition.
But it is merely a tactic to curry local favour.
Yes, he did the same.
Napoleon
everywhere.
also grapples with news that his wife, Josephine, has resumed her affair with an ex-lover. It is, he's told, common knowledge amongst Paris society. He consoles himself with affairs of his own, including one with an officer's wife.
Nice. L'hiver, l'hiver, l'hiver.
All the while, French efforts to win over the local population are failing. Most Egyptians see only foreign occupiers and infidels. The situation is already at boiling point. Minor revolts break out across the Nile Delta, which are brutally suppressed by the French. Then in September, from Constantinople, Sultan Selim III declares a holy war against the French. Now, the situation in Egypt is about to explode.
He's desperate already. Doesn't have any reinforcement, any logistics anymore. He's in a foreign land with rebels that are against him and Ottomans that are gathering an army. So yes, complicated. And all those who believe that there is but one God take themselves from the Al-Azhar mosque. For today, it is the day to fight the infidel. Sheikh of Al-Azhar.
Cairo, the 21st of October, 1798. General Dupuy, Cairo's military governor, is called out to break up a disturbance. He finds the Cairo, 1798. General Dupuy, Cairo's military governor, is called out to break up a disturbance. He finds the locals erecting barricades.
Wait, this square is huge. If there is at least 600,000 people here, this is absolutely huge. Esbekia Square.
He finds the locals erecting barricades, is set upon and killed. Soon the whole city is up in arms. The French fight back with ruthless discipline and crush the revolt. Some 300 French soldiers are killed, alongside several thousand Egyptians. Napoleon ostentatiously pardons the ringleaders, while quietly telling Berthier that every rioter caught with a weapon is to be beheaded and thrown into the Nile.
You can be like, oh, he's quite violent now, but he's, remember, on the positive side, he's trying to accept the people he occupies culture, but it means also like that the punitions. The beheading is a custom of Egypt and Islamic world back then.
The French have bloodily reasserted control in Cairo. But it is clear, Napoleon will never win the hearts and minds of the Egyptians.
Yes.
The next few months see the French languish in Cairo. There is limited communication with France, much homesickness, and a dwindling supply of stores, ammunition, and wine.
The most important. That's dramatic.
There is also an outbreak of bubonic plague, which torments the army and further thins its ranks. The only action is in the south, where General Desaix's column, 2,800 men, pursue Murad Bey deep into Upper Egypt. In this epic chase, one officer distinguishes himself. A 28-year-old cavalry brigadier named Louis-Nicolas Davout.
One of the best, he will become one of the best Napoleon marshals. Even many people say the best.
On the 22nd of January 1799, he and Desaix inflict a serious defeat on Murad Bey, scattering his remaining forces. Murad himself escapes and remains at large. But such military victories do little to change the outlook for Napoleon's expedition. They remain 1,600 miles from France, with no prospect of reinforcements.
So yeah, more than 1,000 kilometers.
Napoleon briefly puts his hopes on a diplomatic solution. France's foreign minister, the brilliant, urbane and slippery Charles Maurice de Talleyrand, had been an early supporter of the Egyptian expedition. He's assured Napoleon that he will personally travel to Constantinople to smooth relations with the Sultan and win Egypt for France. But Talleyrand never leaves Paris. The Sultan remains furious at France's attack on his Egyptian province.
You can be like, why win over Egypt for France? And tell to me what they invade is, I don't know, we call it province, is Egyptian province. But in fact, you have to remember what they said. It was effectively under Mamluk control. So, and also before the expedition, they didn't think that it would be the Sultan would be that mad and wouldn't go at war against France because, yes, as they said before, it was under control of the Mamluks, in fact, de facto. So, he doesn't control it really, so he won't care much if it goes into another hand. But finally, they were proven wrong.
There is to be no negotiation and no compromise. Orders have gone out to every corner of the Ottoman Empire to raise troops to drive out the French invader. Napoleon's position looks more desperate than it's ever been. His troops cut off, disease-ridden, in the midst of a hostile population. He will respond in the way that seems obvious to him, as it would to his hero Alexander. He will attack.
It's really the mindset of a crazy, great military leader, because most people wouldn't have reacted that way. And many probably would have already surrendered or gave up.
One of the most important skills for any historian is to be able to critically evaluate sources.
So yeah, it was shorter than usual, I think. Whatever. So thank you for having watched the video. Don't hesitate to put a like because if you are still there, I hope that you liked it. And if you aren't subscribed yet, subscribe if you want to see future history reaction videos of Napoleon series, but also I do other series. I started also in a Hannibal series in parallel, but people don't like it much, but I will try to go to the end and see other series. So I hope that you have a good day and see you next time.